Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Let me begin my presentation. So, today I'm going to talk on recent trends in linear motion technology and their relevance in smart manufacturing. Basically, this webinar is under Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. I am going to cover on mostly on precision and reliability of the linear motion elements, then lubrication and quietness. Okay, how to how the trends are, like what are the recent advances towards better lubrication and noise reduction, and also about thermal stability, then frictionless bearings, how they have been adopted in linear motion systems, and also how industry 4.0 solutions. Okay. Generally, we have considered three key elements for three key linear motion elements. Okay, in my talk. The one is ball screw. The other one is LM guideways, and third one is linear motors. So my talk will be concentrated on these three key elements. Okay, as you know that like if in a CNC machine, and the talk will be concentrated more on machine tool aspects, because these same linear motion elements, they are widely used for several sectors, like it may be in medical sector, automotive sector. But what I'm going to talk is from machine tool perspective. Uh, Generally, like if you see a CNC machines, then if you take a CNC controller, you can consider it as a brain of the system. Then these linear motion elements, and together also the rotary motion elements, they are like the heart of the system. Like they only decide the machine accuracy, machines machining speed, and etc. So here I have taken an example wherein you can see here a machine tool. If we open up the cover, for example, and what is the basic structure, how the machine tool looks like, it will be something like this, where on a machine bed there are like uh, slides, and below which you can see the ball screws and LM guides mounted on it, over which the slides are sliding. So there are three linear axes, you can see X, Y, and Z. So you can see in this image how they are, for an example, how they are aligned, like how the slide is placed on the LM guideways, and how the ball screw is mounted. The nut is attached to the table, sliding table, and then the ball screw is supported at both ends with bearing blocks. Okay. Um so the construction is very important when it comes to accuracies, like the guides. These are all like separately. It's a bought out element which is mounted directly on the bed. Okay. So the flatness of which, and how you are assembling it, means when you are assembling two guide rails, each one is called as a monorail guide rails. How parallel you have assembled to one another. Then what is the flatness of this when compared to the machine, like slideway top surface. So everything is and what is the parallelity between nut top surface and machine slide surface. So they all dictate how the machine accuracy is going to be. This is just a one particular linear axis what I have taken as an example. So in this machine tool there are such three axes. and there can be rotary also, which is not part of our talk. So the precision with which these linear elements are manufactured, and the precision with which it is assembled, and overall parallelity, flatness, squareness, and all the geometrical parameters when it is taken care, that is what differentiates between a normal lathe or milling machine, normal machine, and a high-end precision, high precision machines, which we tell like the ones which are imported and all. That is where the accuracy comes from. So these elements are like the building blocks. So coming to condition monitoring, today we talk about smart manufacturing and Industry 4.0, where condition monitoring of these elements, a machine as a whole is very important in productivity management and also in preventive maintenance. So in like if we talk about olden days, hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So when we talk about olden days machine tools like
Yes,
say
sir.
30 to 40 years back, so they were
Yes,
all
sir.
the main aim was to make very rigid machines, okay, to get very good accuracies. But today it's like within the same design envelope, like same size, we are trying to manufacture very faster machine tools, very faster machining capabilities, like 120 meter per minute. We are trying like that, and high speed spindles. Spindles have gone up to 50,000 RPM. So when we are talking about that, we are stretching the performance, like whatever max possible, we are trying to extract it, and we are trying to keep the size of the element, size of the machine tool as a whole, as minimalistic as possible. So and when we are talking about when we are pushing to the limits, we like there is always reliability will be an issue. Okay, so we have to manufacture very high precision components, and not only that, through these smart technologies and Industry 4.0, we have to continuously monitor them. And one thing is like through several sensors, embedded sensors like a temperature sensor, acoustic sensor, pressure sensors, okay, flow sensors. We try to get the data, and we try to monitor. And one thing what we can do is we can monitor and try to analyze the life of the components, like how long it is going to last further. Or we can also do active correction, like with the help of actuators. So what is the trends? That is what I'm going to discuss further. So that is how this Industry 4.0 is playing a major role. Condition monitoring is very important. So coming to thermal stability aspects, uh, we know that like how the steel expands. So machine accuracy is thermal stability plays very important role on machine accuracy. Coming to high speed machines, we are going for higher speed machines, means higher friction and higher temperature rise. So again, it is again a key aspect to address thermal this aspects, because we are talking about 1 micron, and now the accuracies of machine tool, earlier it was like 10 microns, now it is going 1 micron and below. So we are talking about sub microns. So next thing will be like improper preload. Okay, generally this preload we talk preload of ball screws, for example. See, when I'm talking about ball screw or LM guideway, some of the technologies like temperature rise, lubrication, and all those things, generally they tend to be same. Preloading, they are all similar. Okay, preload, it generally we decide up to 1/3 of the axial load that we are going to put. So that is where we will set the preload, and it has to be less than 10% of the dynamic load. So if we have not set it properly, or because of improper use, if it has increased, so then the temperature is going to rise. And not only that, even the bearings, end bearing blocks, you can see in this image. Okay, we can use IR cameras, and we can map like this temperature profile, and we can see how it is the temperature is rising. And here below the slide there is a nut where again temperature is very high, and also in the end bearing blocks where again due to contact bearings it is temperature is going to rise. So we have to control it. Then lubrication also, improper lubrication, insufficient lubrication, excessive lubrication also can result in temperature rise. So how to control? So coming to ball screws, like there are two methods to control. One is pumping, means considering a hollow shaft and pumping in and out the coolant. Okay, then further cooling it through a chiller or something. So and the next option is to do nut cooling. Okay, where there are internally several channels through which the parallelly multiple times the fluid flows inside. Okay, so you can see here again IR image where without nut cooling and with cooling. And here the main consideration that has to be done is like if you are doing a nut or a shaft or together cooling. So if there is a improper uniformity has to be there throughout the component. If there is improper cooling, then it is going to lead to preload increase, and preload increase is very much undesirable. Okay, it is going to put unnecessary forces on the balls and the raceway, which is going to wear okay earlier. And we can see the data where without cooling and with cooling there is a 10-degree temperature rise, which is significant, especially for precision machine tools. Second thing is like noise, and again one more reason for again temperature rise is like you can see here how the balls are arranged in the ball groove. Okay, these balls during the motion they tend to collide with each other. Okay, this collision is going to increase temperature rise. Whatever the lubrication, grease or oil generally which is being used, it is not going to help when it comes to metal contact. And
ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಂದು ಸರ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ತೆಗೆದು ರೆಡಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಆಗ ನಾನು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹೋದೆ ಒಂದು 2:30 ತನಕ ಅಂದಾಜು ಹೀಗೆ ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ ಆಗ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅವರು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ.
kindly mute your audio please. Okay, so to avoid this, when we are talking about high speed ball screws and all, this noise is going to be very high, and failure rate is also going to be high. So it is ideal to use ball retainers as in the case of ball bearings what we have used. Okay, optimal ball retainers can lead to okay ordered ball screw passage. Okay, orderly they will be aligned, and there will be no metal to metal contact, and it's resulting in a lower temperature and lower noise. Okay, generally this noise is also a very big issue with ball screws. There are several recirculation methods which are there, like external, internal, end cap and all. And so many research, so much work has gone on how to make the profile of the recirculation systems to reduce the noise. But whatever it is, you cannot totally eliminate it, and in doing so, these ball retainers are also going to play a major role. So high-end systems have this. So coming to lubrication, you can see here first like when we're talking about LM guideways, there are always two types, like ball type and roller type. Okay. Ball type and roller type, and there are like in LM guideways we call as a double row, single row type uh, bearing types. Okay, so I'm not going to go into detail with that. So coming to lubrication, generally in machine tools, the lubrication is like a centralized lubrication system is adopted for like say 3-axis LM guideways and also ball screws. We are going to pump the lubricant continuously if it is a oil, and if it is a grease frequently. Okay, once in a week, once in a month, once in 2 months, it depends as per manufacturer specification. So, and when there is a shortage of lubrication, we monitor it through pressure gauges. But whereas presently there are systems, okay, where it is like continuously when we are pumping through some sensors like acoustic sensors, we are going to measure directly the noise, okay, and when there is insufficient lubrication through the acoustic sensor, we can make out and proactively we can adjust the flow rate of the lubricant. Okay, and not only that, with life, okay, these guides are also going to wear out. So when there is a wear happening, okay, again, you can adjust the lubricant accordingly. So in such case, okay, it helps to prolong the life of the guideways, and these things can be monitored. Okay, condition monitored continuously, and we can take preventive action. Okay. Generally, coming to measurement system, we use like if it is a ball screw driven system, which most of the case it is, we use like rotary encoders for most of the machine tools, and it is going to it can be like optical or magnetic. It is going to measure what is the distance traveled and positioning of the stage, okay, through the rotation. So, and for high-end machines, we use a linear encoder. Okay, a linear encoder, which is parallelly, it is mounted across the slides. Okay, guideways, sorry, and we are going to measure it. But one major thing is like contamination. It will be prone to contamination. You know that in machine tool coolant is used, and there are a lot of lubrication oils leaking, so that all leads to contamination. So it will be covered with bellows and all. Still, whatever the case, there will be contamination. So there are LM guideways presently which have come with built-in measurement system, okay, which is mounted, and here it will be packed and integrated well with the carriage block of the linear guideways. So in this case, okay, you can save the space of the system, and not only that, you can avoid from contamination, and reliability is going to improve. Okay. And one point I can mention here that generally linear encoders are always better than rotary encoders while using, because rotary encoders will add up the error of the ball pitch error and rigidity, which again I will discuss in detail further slides. In ball screws or LM guideways, preloading is very important, because that is going to improve the rigidity of the system, and it will remove any clearance which is there. Because if there is no preload, it is going to be a backlash which you will be aware. So say with backlash, if I move from A to B and back, and it doesn't come, the slide doesn't come back to the A, there will be always some gap, which is the error in the pitch, okay, pitch of the ball screw. So to eliminate this preloading is required. This is the same case with the ball bearings also. So there are like three methods that are used, okay, with respect to ball nut. One is we use like a double nut ball screw, okay, and a spacer in between, and both side it is going to preload, okay. And the second thing is large size ball screw. Manufacturers use large size ball screws, okay, where here it is a 2-point contact and here it is a 4-point contact, slightly larger size ball screws. And then third one is a single screw with the pitch or lead offset. Okay, it is manufactured. It is a difficult to manufacture. However, slightly offset will be introduced so that it is making a 2-point contact and have an off preload. Okay. Yeah. During process like over a time, over years to get when years passes with the usage, there will be a wear in the raceways and balls also. Okay, and due to wear and tear, this preload will decrease. Okay, when preload decreases, okay, axial load carrying capacity automatically will decrease, and positioning errors also will start to increase. Okay, which is undesirable. In situ to measure on process, look, okay, there are like systems where you can measure through. Generally, there is one way which in past being adopted, which is like to measure current. Okay, during the process to measure current and from the ball screw motor, and to say whether there is preload or some torque is getting increased. So, but presently there is a drag torque which is being mounted directly on the ball nut. Okay, directly on the ball nut, a drag torque is mounted, and then through that we can measure. Okay, what is the value? So, for example, here one such study has been done where a ball nut with three diameters with same nut with three diameters, okay, it is machined in that way, and the preload has been measured and correlated, and it is in line. Okay, it has been seen in line. So preload, as in previous slides I had said that temperature rise, it can give rise to temperature rise, so it is better to control it. So in earlier slide, I told about monitoring it, but there are also systems which are in research, okay, where like actual preload sensing and actuation also are being considered, okay, through smart materials. In smart materials, this is the right one is the piezo based actuation, where continuously they will monitor, and through piezo actuators you are going to actuate and adjust the preload. And the left one is based on shape memory alloys. Okay, so these are the new systems for real time preload measurement and adjustment. So coming to smart diagnosis, uh, we can from the ball screw we can measure several parameters. Okay, and generally we can take it to a say edge controller. Okay, where we can do the calculations, and then we can take it to the our smartphones through cloud or Ethernet connections. Okay, like we can monitor vibration. Okay, data like speed, acceleration, it will give in terms of frequency, velocity, the data we can get, and also we can predict life. Okay, through preload and through lubrication, smart lubrication, we can save lubricant unnecessarily. Okay, when it is required, you just pump the adequate quantity. Okay, we discussed this in previous slides. Okay, and real-time thermal diagnosis of how it is varying, and how the cooling performance and what we can do. Okay, and we can take some corrective actions also. Generally, these controllers also provide some opportunity to do some control action. Okay, especially the open architecture controllers. So this way we can monitor parameters and yeah, coming to some economic advantages like again performance monitoring, reliability. Then we can see the operation status. We can do servicing and maintenance. Okay, which is always better to do. Then breakdown maintenance. Okay, no downtime. Sorry, and less wear and tear. And this all leads to cost saving, okay, from machine tool user point of view. And also advantages are like we can gauge the life of the equipment. We can and we can also control the temperature and monitor vibration and take preventive action. And lubrication monitoring, I discussed with sound diagnosis. This all helps in preventive maintenance and prolonging the life of the machine and using the machine to the full extent to improve the productivity. So coming to linear motors, see, this is one more element in linear motion systems. Okay, it is basically nothing much different from a motor. This linear motor is gaining a lot of importance from last, I think, 10-15 years. Currently, I think from last few years, it is finding more and more applications, particularly in machine tools. So it's basically a normal electric motor, which is where the stator and rotor is unrolled, okay, to produce a linear motor, okay. So basically, a linear motor will be like where at two sides, okay, you will have a, stator, okay, where there are like magnets mounted, and in between there will be a coiled okay, like moving element, and you can switch. Okay, there are different type of motor. Here you can see that the like the motor portion has the coil, whereas there are linear motors with the other way around, where the stator portion will have the coils and the motor portion will have the magnets. Okay, so the applications are like and in linear yeah, the applications are like machine tool industry, like especially in laser micromachining machines and all, and in medical industry also it has been used. And you can see in transportation for quite some time we talk about maglev and all. So that is how it is basically a linear motor only. In construction, the principle remains the same. Yeah. So linear motors, the advantage of I will go the advantage of because there is absence of moving parts. You can see there is no such balls or something there. It is basically the motor is like floating in between the stator elements. So there is no backlash as such. Okay, there is no such thing as preload, no such thing as temperature rise. And okay, you can and generally linear encoders, okay, are optical or linear encoders are much better than rotary encoders. So you are talking about linear motion, so there is no add up of errors of the ball screws here. This and one important thing is it is like speeds are very high in linear motor. Especially it is like if we consider a maximum speed at which ball screw guides can move is around 2g acceleration and 120 meter per minute. Okay, here we are telling about 10g acceleration and up to 10 meter per second velocity. So it is quite very much high. And smoother motion because of no contact elements, and almost zero maintenance and near infinite life. Okay, no wear and tear. So and very high dynamic stiffness compared to rotary motors. Okay, and no limitation on length. Okay, you can use. There are linear motors up to 10-meter length. There is no such limitation. But coming to what are the limitations, cooling is a major problem when it comes to linear motors. Okay, it is intolerant. You will lose accuracies, and also you
Sir,
can.
can you explain third point once again?
So it is also suitable only for soft metal machining. Uh, because when it come if you compare directly with ball screws, it doesn't have that like capability to machine like steel and all with higher depth of cuts. Okay, so it is only like for higher speeds you can use, or maybe for softer materials you can use. But that is the reason why it cannot entirely replace uh, ball screws, means ball screw feed drives. But it has its own area where there are lesser cutting forces, where it can fit very well, and where very high speeds are advantageous, like in EDM and ECM machines and laser micro machines, where there is no contact forces as such. So you can use this linear motors, and all reputed manufacturers have started using them from quite some few years. Okay, and it's expensive. See, cost is not the factor. Okay, it is forces is only the thing. So you have to find a suitable application. So you can see here in machining center also linear motor has been tried, and in die sink EDM how it has been tried. Okay, and wire cut EDM also. So it's a good choice for this thing, non-traditional machining process. So now coming to hydrostatic linear guides. Okay, generally I discussed about ball bearing and roller bearing linear guides, monorail guides. But there is a development with hydrostatic bearing guides. Okay, hydrostatic means there will be like small pockets. Okay, where it is like a reservoir where it will pressurize the guides to, it will lift the moving element. Okay, and oil will be the bearing here. Uh, and the motion is again contactless. Okay, it's and the life will be infinite, and there is no such friction, and this oil can be circulated through the chiller, and it can be cooled, so you can manage temperatures also. Okay, and the stiffness, when you compare with a roller bearing linear guides, the stiffness here also we can achieve up to 1000 Newton per micron or more. Okay, and speeds up to 120 meter per minute we can achieve. So there is absolutely it is inline. You can directly replace it in future linear guides with the hydrostatic guides. Of course, the cost will be the criteria, but it will enlarge the life like anything. If we consider like take care of the basic safety things, so there is absolutely no issue which is coming out of hydrostatic guides. Okay, we just have to monitor the pressure, oil pressure, and always we have to try to keep maintaining that. And the second most biggest thing is the damping property. When we are using hydrostatic bearings, you'll be knowing it has excellent damping properties. So at end finish, say on the job, when you are machining it, when you are turning it, okay, you are going to get very good surface finish. Okay, enlarged tool life. Okay, so and there are many advantages. Okay, accuracies and all. So now we are coming to hydrostatic slide. So in my previous slide, I talked about replacing linear guides, monorail guides with hydrostatic guides. But here, overall, it is the whole slide is a hydrostatic slide. Okay. When we are going for a machines with higher and higher and higher precision, that is the present day requirement, right? So we have to this is what I am discussing about the development like trends. Okay, so we have to go ahead with say a linear motor. Okay, here you can see a linear motor placed instead of ball screws, and it's a hydrostatic guide way. Okay, hydrostatic guides, sorry. And in between here you can see there is a block which are like uh, on which it is going to move. Okay, there will be a bearing pads. Okay, these are the bearing. Okay, bearing element or bearing pads, you can tell, and where there is a pocket and the pad. Okay, and the oil, once it fills up this pad, this pocket, sorry, and it flows to the leakage land. Okay, so the existing time I cannot go in very much into detail. So it will be like the gaps will be something like 10 to 15 micron between a top stator and the moving element. The gaps will be around 10 to 15 micron. Uh, okay, nowhere with increasing use. Okay, which is the case in contact type bearings, and practically friction free at low speeds. Okay, at higher speeds the friction only comes only from the oil viscosity, or else friction is very low, and no stick and slip effect. Okay, it's a smooth movement. Exceptional improvement in damping, resulting in considerably better workpiece surface finish and tool surface life. In next slides, I will discuss about the surface finish which is achievable, which is quite excellent. Like it will be in very few, like less than 10 nanometers is possible. No fluctuation and variation in the friction, as in case. No backlash when the, okay, especially when you combine hydrostatic bearing slides with linear motor, absolutely there is no backlash. Okay, accuracy and very good positioning accuracy. Okay, up to 0.1 is possible, 0.2 and 0.3 is easily achievable. The sliding properties, there is no material constraint like in contact bearings, like in journals and all, you know that like uh, generally we use like gunmetal or copper bronze materials. Okay, here there is nothing like that. As there is no contact, you need not bother about metal. Okay, but the material has to have very good dimensional stability. You can do with aluminum, you can do with steel also. A particular alloys are only suitable. So this is the hydrostatic slide which CMT has developed quite few years back. Okay, where we bearing driven by linear motor, and it has very high stiffness. Okay, about 1000 Newton per micron, and this is suitable for ultra precision turning, milling, boring, and grinding applications. Okay, and it has very good geometrical parameters like form and profile. Okay, and we have used like linear glass scales. Okay, so you can see horizontal straightness 0.2 micron and vertical straightness 0.3 micron. Okay, and it is cooled, and oil temperature is maintained stable to get such accuracies. Okay, this is one of our competitors guideway. So now where is now such high technologies where they find application? Like generally they are these type of slides, they are used in high precision, very high precision grinding machines. Okay, high precision hard turning machines. Okay, and very high precision micro machining centers. Generally they are used. Here we have CMT has built a diamond turning machine. So it's a basic turning machine with very high precision, where the machine surface will be like a mirror with surface finish like say in less than 10 nanometers. Okay, you can see here. Okay, aluminum, hardened steel, germanium, okay, brass, silicon. So this is near to impossible with the normal high-end machines. Okay, these exceptional machines. In worldwide, only 2 or 3 people develop such machines. Okay, we use like diamond tools and also CBN tools on this. And one more thing, from the tool aspects, the machine dynamics should be very good, like very good damping property. It all comes from this machine uses high stiff hydrostatic oil slides, aerostatic spindle. So the damping and all comes from this. Okay, natural granite bed, independent slide configuration, open architecture controller. Okay, where we have introduced some smart intelligence diagnostic features, what I discussed earlier, which have been included here in this machine. So all these things, what I discussed, have come together. It can give such okay finish and such accuracies. That is what in general my summary is. Uh, and when using diamond and CBN tools, okay, they are very brittle crystalline tools, so you have to have a machine with very good damping. You cannot use it, please never try it on such tools on ordinary machines, because it will get chipped off due to vibrations. And workpiece diameter that it can do is 250 mm, and spindle running accuracy is less than 25 nanometer. These are some parameters. Okay, I would like to thank all the delegates for attending the presentation.